Well, you guys send in your questions, so it's time for me to answer them here. OTR Essential Q&A time. Yippity skibbity. All right, let's get started. Sean McGlinchey 4 asked, who the hell do you book to win the Rumble now? That's the interesting question, isn't it? That was kind of what I'm referencing. And now it would appear that things have gotten even more complicated in the hearts and minds of many of you. Again, this is a problem that WWE has, and I don't know if they fully realize that they have. Let's see here. What do we got next? Tom King Beckor, can you make a video about brand split? What do you mean about the brand split of the past? Are you insinuating that we want the brand split again? Good God, no, son. We do not want that brand split again. So, no, I would not make a video about it. Let's see here. Mr. Scoobs, how would you have broken up the NWO and WCW? I would have kept the group a lot smaller, number one, which would have been critically important because it got too diluted, too watered down, too many people involved. Basically, every heel was involved with that group. At some point in time along the way, you would have had to have maybe had it been either Hogan who turned or Hall that turned. Yeah, you would have had to have been one of those two. Maybe under the premise that Hall was tired of following Nash around and being viewed as kind of Nash's lackey or buddy, if you will. Or maybe Hall is tired of the fact that he never gets that shot at the very, very top. Something like that. But that would have been the way I would have had to start it. It would have revolved around Scott Hall, believe it or not. Let's see here. Pimp on Elm Street. Would another example of WWE purposefully killing someone's heat be the Brian Kendrick? I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Black Zach 41. Why would you say UFC is not that good when they're a billion-dollar company more financially successful than the WWE? Long term, they're not more financially successful than the WWE. Let's not be stupid here. At the current moment, they may very well perhaps be. When did I say they were not good? I said that they had a problem, big difference. And they do have a problem with creating their own stars that can reach over into the mainstream. There's no doubt that they have that problem. To sit there and say that they do not have that problem is just naive. Very, very much so. UFC, again, I can't remember when I ever said it was not that good, but if I was being perfectly honest, I think UFC has followed a little too much of the WWE model and put too much of their product out there and have started to water it down and dilute it a little bit. So yeah, maybe it's not that good compared to what it was a couple of years ago. Fuck it, yeah, I'll say it. You don't like it, kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. Seriously. I mean, so, let UFC be its own fucking thing. I don't really care. WWE can be its own thing. I don't really care. This whole thing of who's better, who gives a fuck? Seriously. Let's see here. Cyanide Rain. Do you think Undertaker should have won by DQ over Lesnar with Lesnar going apeshit instead of on Taker afterwards? Maybe could have done an angle where Lesnar got DQ'd or counted out. Something like that, but that would have been just about as lame as what actually happened. And then he also asked, are the members of the New Day going to have to choke a bitch to get respect? Only if Heath Slater's really in the group, goddammit. Ahmed _LW. Which wrestlers do you think can never have a bad match? For me, it's Luke Harper. Oh, like any wrestler can have a bad match. I don't look at a single wrestler out there and say that they can't have a bad match. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Sometimes they will have certain guys with more ability to have more bad matches than others, but everybody will have a bad match at some point in time, even the Punks and Daniel Bryans of the world, so no matter what any of you might say. Stephen Gravovic, do you feel that the Buffalo Bills are a quarterback away from being a playoff team? Perhaps. I hope they like their meaningless winning record now that the guy that they decided to go to has retired, and they are surprised by the fact that the guy that was talking about wanting to retire from the Cowboys early in the year all of a sudden is retired at the end of this season. There's a reason certain organizations find themselves in certain positions consistently. Like my Bears are consistently dumb and mediocre because of the dumb and mediocre decisions they make. While the Buffalo Bills threw any future that E.J. Manuel had under the bus in order to start Kyle Orton for the rest of the year to have a meaningless winning record, and now you have nothing to build on, frankly, going forward. You're starting over again. That was stupid. So it was stupid at the beginning. It's even more ridiculous now. How could you not see that there might be a chance that Orton was going to retire, or so-called retire, if he was threatening it when he was with the Cowboys? I mean, come on now. It's just dumb. Let's see here. They call me YDG. Isn't it kind of ironic that Triple H's first gimmick was called Terrorizing? It was just funny. I don't know if it's necessarily ironic. I mean, did we find him out to be the Nostro Bomber or something? I don't know how it would be ironic. It's funny. It's funny, though. Matthew _ Bizzle, did you give yourself the nickname Schleich Daddy, and did you make girls call you this in the bedroom, you big dog, you? Maybe more, who's your daddy? Or call me daddy. No, I did not give myself that nickname, Schleich Daddy. I did not. Dexter C73, have wrestling fans lowered their standards? Fuck yes. And the reason being is because they have no choice. It is the only way they can continue to justify watching this crap that they see from professional wrestling today. Period. Yes, wrestling fans have lowered their standards tremendously. What other alternative or choice have they been given? I mean, seriously. WWE does so many stupid things. TNA, let's not even go there. I mean, come on, ROH is kind of a blip in the map. And I mean, if you're really going to defend ROH to the gills, I mean, come on. Or any other wrestling company, just a business in general. Yeah, in order to watch wrestling today, you have to lower your standards. You have to. I don't think you have a choice if you want to find, especially, any type of enjoyment out of it whatsoever. Let's see here. Luke _ wins. Will you do another mean comments video? Probably. Luke Wins also wants to know, will Cesaro recover from his 2014 burial? Signs point to no. You might be given a flash or two of being able to believe, I should say, something different in 2015, but I'm not buying it. At the end of the day, Vince has clearly put out there that he doesn't believe in the guy, he doesn't get the guy, so am I going to sit there and say all of a sudden that things are magically going to change? I don't see where it's going to change at all. Let's see here. Brandon H. 2340. Do you think Roman winning the Rumble and going to face Cena and Cena turning heel and joining the Authority to win would work? No. I really don't. And maybe that's just because it involves a Cena heel turn, which is, you know, I get tired of hearing about it, get tired of talking about it for years. And that's maybe why I'm just shooting it down. Because I don't even know if the timing is right for a Cena heel turn anymore. I mean, it's just one of those things of almost ambivalence. It just doesn't matter. If they booked him better as a babyface and they actually gave him some challenges, actually gave him some obstacles to overcome, actually gave him some weaknesses instead of him being impenetrable, unstoppable force with no obstacles and no barriers to overcome, maybe people would like him better. Maybe people would relate to him more. It's just a thought. It's Johnny Russo. You ever read comments out of your videos and wonder who the fuck am I dealing with here? Because people say some of the dumbest shit. They do. Sure they do. But unlike the WWE, at least I allow everybody to have an opinion. That's one way to look at it. The next way to look at it is, honestly, in defense of the people that you might sit there and say, well, they said really, really stupid shit. Honestly, if I want to see the most idiotic, moronic, ridiculously stupid things said about professional wrestling, I could just go onto any form or branch of social media that I could find, and I just look at what the people involved with the professional wrestling business say. That's the dumbest shit that I see when I hear them on the podcast. That's the dumbest shit I hear. It doesn't come from fans. It comes from wrestlers. It comes from bookers. It comes from writers. It comes from people involved with the business. That's by far the dumbest shit that I hear on a consistent basis. Consistently. Rampage or 213. Do you think the WWE will go all the way with Dean Ambrose, or will they eventually screw him up as well? I don't know if they'll screw him up, but I don't know if they'll ever go all the way with him, if that makes sense. Or even if they do screw up with him, he'll still be a top guy. Kind of like with CM Punk, let's say. You know, they screwed up with him badly, and he was still a top guy. I mean, they screwed up with him, but he was still in a certain spot. Let's see here. Harding Everett, which Hell in a Cell match do you prefer? Batista versus Triple H or Batista versus Undertaker? Probably got to go Batista Triple H. Yeah, I think so. Batista Triple H. Abdullah Hep C, because he has Hep C, he gives it to people. Do you think WWE needs to do the same thing you suggested to the Chicago Bears and do a complete overhaul? Yeah. Problem is, when you're doing that from a WWE standpoint, the pool of people that you can pull from in order to be able to pull that off is significantly smaller. And when you talk about the Bears, they're one of 32 teams. There's all types of coaches and general managers and team presidents and directors of scouting and player personnel that you could potentially pull from in order to get done what you need to get done. On the WWE, where else are you really going to pull from? Who else are you going to really pull in? That's the problem. So yes, in theory, they need that type of top-down, bottom-up rebuild. I agree with that all the way. However, it's not very realistic. And they don't have the luxury to do it. They can't afford to do it. Let's see here. Matt Messerkevich, also known as Metalhead 674. Will you grow a beard? Listen here, brother. This is going on a few months now. This right here, these fucking disgusting chin pubes. This is by far the closest you're ever going to get to a freaking beard out of the Schleg Daddy. I know that's kind of insane. I maybe have to shave the sides and the upper lip like once every 2 or 3 weeks just for a cleanliness standpoint because it just looks disgusting. There's nothing that actually really grows in. It's terrible. I'm going to be 34 in March and I've never once been able to grow a fucking beard. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. JWT. If Cena got caught having an affair with Stephanie, do you think Vince would fire him? No, probably promote him. Or in some weird, creepy way, with Vince's lips being planted on Cena's cock, it would be like Vince would have been inside his daughter, and it would just, that got weird quickly. You'd probably like that shit. He'd probably like that shit. Ah, good Lord. So anyways, thanks to you guys that submitted your questions for this Q&A. Coming up this week on OTRS Central, I will be announcing your choices for the year-end WWE Awards in the categories like Breakout Star of the Year, Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Feud of the Year, all of those categories that I asked you to vote on last week. So you'll be seeing all those videos coming up in the next couple of days. And I'll have some other commentary content to come and more Q&As, another Q&A, I believe, coming up Wednesday. So stay tuned for that.